Have you ever just stopped and felt like you're climbing a ladder to absolutely nowhere? Well, today, we're not just going to explore a different path. We are going to completely dismantle a myth that has been holding people back for decades and replace it with a powerful, modern strategy for building a career that actually means something. And this right here, this is the core idea we're unpacking. This straight vertical climb, start at the bottom, work your tail off, and just hope you eventually get to the top. It's not just outdated. It's a trap. And if you're still trying to climb it, you're probably feeling exhausted, maybe a little bored, or maybe just stuck. All right, so first things first, let's really dig into why this traditional model is so broken. I mean, it's basically a blueprint from the 1950s that we're trying to use in a completely different world. We're going to break down exactly what's wrong with the career ladder and why it's such a dangerous trap for professionals today. This slide just nails the difference, doesn't it? The ladder is rigid. It forces you up this one single narrow path. And the real risk? You become a commodity, so specialized that you're actually easy to replace. The jungle gym, though, that's all about flexibility. It's messy, it's nonlinear, and it lets you build this totally unique combination of skills that makes you irreplaceable. Now, which one of those sounds more secure to you? This is one of the biggest dangers of that old ladder model. We call it career quicksand. You stay in a job you've totally outgrown just because it's comfortable, it's familiar, but that comfort, it's deceptive. The longer you stay, the more your skills just kind of dissolve, and the bigger that fear of leaving gets. It's a vicious cycle. Okay, here's a really crucial idea, and it might sound a little backward at first. If you spend your 20s and 30s only chasing the highest salary, you are actually setting yourself up to be poorer in the long run. The real goal early on should be to optimize for learning. Every new skill you pick up is like an investment in your future self, a ticket to way more interesting and, more valuable opportunities later on. The money will follow the skills. Okay, so we've seen the trap, we get it. Now, let's talk about the solution. It is time to get off that rickety ladder and start playing on the jungle gym, where you can build something that nobody else has. The big takeaway here is that careers today are not a straight line, and that is a huge advantage. We've been trained to think that a sideways move is a setback, but it's not. It's an opportunity to bolt a whole new skill onto your toolkit. The goal isn't just to get the next promotion, it's to build a skill set so unique, so specific to you that you become indispensable. You can't control the whole ocean, but you can learn to ride the waves. So what are you actually building? You're building what we call a creative superpower. And no, it's not about being the single best person in the world at one thing. It's about being uniquely good at the intersection of several things. Look at this example. Someone who's good at data and graphic design and understands a bit of psychology. That combination is incredibly rare. And because of that, it's incredibly valuable. That's what you're aiming for. Okay, let's get into the playbook. This isn't just a bunch of nice ideas. This is a practical toolkit that you can literally start using today to navigate your own career jungle gym. And you know what? The playbook is actually pretty simple. It really just comes down to these three things. First, you have got to let go of that rigid 50-year plan. The world just changes way too fast for that to work anymore. Second, you focus on finding what's called the adjacent possible. Don't worry, we'll get to that in a sec. And third, our golden rule. Always prioritize learning. So, what on earth is the adjacent possible? It sounds fancy, but it's really simple. It's not about taking some massive, terrifying leap into a totally new field. It's about finding the opportunity that's just one step outside of what you already know. It's a small, manageable step into a new area that lets you learn something new without risking everything. And that right there is the heart of life design. Stop trying to make a perfect plan for a future you can't predict. Instead, just start running small, low-risk experiments. Try a side project, take a weekend course, volunteer for a task at work that's a little bit different. See what you actually enjoy, what clicks for you, and then just do more of that. And here's a fun little hack for finding those experiments. Pay attention to what you do when you're procrastinating. When you're supposed to be doing that boring report. Do you find yourself doodling or researching ancient history or messing with code? That's not laziness, that's productive procrastination. And those little detours, that's often where your real passion is hiding in plain sight. Of course, doing all this can be, terrifying. The single biggest thing that holds us back is the fear of failure. So let's talk about that. Let's build some tools to deal with it head on. This is the question, isn't it? It's that little voice inside your head that keeps you stuck in that career quicksand. What if I try something new and I fall flat on my face? What if it's a huge mistake? Well, let me tell you a little secret from psychology. It's called the spotlight effect. Your brain is hardwired to make you feel like there's a giant spotlight on you, and everyone is watching and judging your every single move. But the reality? Honestly, most people are so wrapped up in their own stuff, their own careers, their own anxieties, they barely even notice. That fear is almost entirely in your head. This is where you have to learn to reframe your thoughts. It's like a secret weapon for your mind. You have to consciously choose a new frame. So instead of that destructive thought, I'm a failure, you practice swapping it for a more constructive one. Okay, this is one data point. This is one setback in a much, much longer journey. And this brings us to an incredibly powerful mental model for resilience. It's called the Stockdale paradox. It's this idea that you have to hold two seemingly opposite thoughts in your head at the same time. You need that unwavering faith that you will absolutely succeed in the long run. But at the same time, you have to have the discipline to look at the cold, hard facts of your current situation. It's that mix of optimism and realism that gets you through anything. All right, let's bring this all home. Let's talk about the final, most empowering mindset shift you can make. It's time to stop thinking of yourself as a career manager and start thinking of yourself as a career designer. This one slide just says it all. A CEO tries to execute a rigid plan on a predictable path. But a designer works with the materials they have. They experiment, they pivot, they create something new and unexpected and beautiful out of the chaos. That's what you need to be, a designer of your own career. So what does a designer focus on? They live by the 80-20 rule. You have to identify that vital 20% of your skills and your activities that are generating 80% of the results, and frankly, 80% of your joy. Find that 20% and then double down on it. Everything else, it's just expensive noise. So I'm going to leave you with this question, and I want you to really think about it. Now that you have this playbook for the jungle gym, now that you know the ladder is a trap, what is that one adjacent sideways move that you've been too afraid to make? Maybe now's the time to take that first small step.